Kim's pants ripped before taking the stage, Kris Jenner is getting very chummy with Tristan Thompson, and the Dolce & Gabbana beef seems to be squashed. Hey everyone, it's Hannah Fletcher, and welcome back to Shared News. Let's break down the key moments from the latest episode of The Kardashians on Hulu. Alright, so let's kick it off with the beginning of the episode. We had Khloe Kardashian and Scott Disick. They had a conversation, which I thought was very nice. I was actually really looking forward to hearing this conversation when I saw the trailer for this upcoming episode when I saw that last week. And honestly, I think that this was very nice. They had a nice heart-to-heart. They touched on what had happened yet again in more detail with Scott and his back and where he stands with his mobility. But before that took place, we were talking about Khloe and Tristan. Now, what I love is the fact that Khloe and Scott are so close. They've been close, as we've seen, for a very long time. But I think the fact that Khloe and Scott were able to talk about the Tristan Thompson situation in a different light, in a different tone, I think that this was really great because it allowed for Khloe to really set the record straight as to where she stands currently with Tristan Thompson. And we straight up heard Scott asking her if she was basically hooking up with Tristan, and she quickly and sarcastically responded with what seemed to be a no. I thought that this scene was definitely a little bit interesting. I thought that the vibe was a little bit off. However, I think that we do have a solid no coming from Khloe to Scott in terms of this conversation. But I want to know what you guys think about this. So comment down below. Do you think that her and Scott having the conversation about Tristan actually means that she's not with Tristan? Do you think she is? I'm so curious. I'm a little confused, but I'm going to play Khloe's side for now and believe her and believe that she is not with Tristan Thompson in any way other than a co-parent. Now, the other portion of this conversation was talking about Scott and his back. As we know, he got into a very gnarly car crash where he flipped his Lambo. Luckily, he was not severely injured. Now, we are seeing that he's having a lot of mobility issues. He didn't have to get any type of surgery or anything like that straight out the gate, but it looks like he might be considering surgery. He might even be considering some holistic approaches. We saw Khloe offering her services of a very renowned doctor to Scott, and we saw him going to the doctor and basically getting some treatments for his back. He got the results of his MRI. Now, I'm hoping that he's able to continue to nurse his back with this particular doctor. He seemed like he was elated after the treatment worked. Now, what I thought was very interesting is this portion in the episode where we saw Scott low-key hitting on Khloe, and the fact that when he turned 40, he wanted to use his back in a different way, which I feel like is very funny for these two. I feel like those two can handle this type of humor and this type of joke. I personally would have liked to see a world maybe where Scott and Khloe were the two that even ended up together. They just have a different type of chemistry, although it is very much jokey brother-sister. So I don't know. I love seeing Scott on the show. I love getting my Scott updates. He is honestly one of my favorite characters. I feel like he's just that outside audience eye that just brings the normalcy factor that everybody needs into the world that is the Kardashians. But I don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys have to think about the relationship of these two down below in the comments. And the fact that he basically made a pass at Khloe and breaking in his back for his 40th birthday in ways that I do not need to explain. So let me know all of your thoughts on that down below. Let's shift gears and talk about Kim. Now, we have Kim Kardashian. We have her showing her wardrobe malfunction that took place on stage. Now, whether or not you guys saw the episode, we saw that Kim had a speaking engagement where she was going to have to take the stage, and she was going to have to be on stage for quite some time, but unfortunately she ripped her pants, so much so that basically her whole backside was showing. Now, luckily, she had a blazer that was long and it was able to cover up the leather pants, but I thought this was a very cheeky, no pun intended, kind of clip to be able to insert into this episode. I feel like we're getting a lot of curated Kim content, especially this season. I mean, we flat out heard Kim say so herself that like she doesn't want to show the cattiness and the drama of her and her sister, or her and her sisters. She really wants to show the more professional CEO side, but it looks like with elements of humor that are attempted to be relatable. So I thought this was very cute. I feel like this was a very unnecessary part of the episode. I think it definitely got a lot more time than it needed. I mean, it even made the trailer for the episode teaser trailer for for the previous episode. So I thought that was very fascinating, but I don't know, you guys. At the end of the day, if you or I ripped our pants and we had to go on stage for a speaking engagement, I feel like we wouldn't have a whole team of people and cameras to be laughing about it. We would be running around and a lot more stressed out than Kim was. So whether or not this was her trying to be relatable, was it entertaining? Yes. Did it tell us anything that we needed to know for this episode, for the season that lies ahead? No. Let me know all of your thoughts on this particular part of the episode down below in the comments. And I want to shift gears and talk about what I think is the main part of this episode that really had me reeling. And this was Kris Jenner and Tristan Thompson. Now, they had a conversation. We saw that Tristan was over at Kris's house, and she mentioned how tall he was, and he was helping her with putting things up in cabinets and what have you. But I thought it was very fascinating that we heard and learned the information that Tristan has received a very big position with ESPN on air, and he got this job because of Kris Jenner. Now, this I was very shocked to find out. I did not realize that this is how he got the job. I knew that he had it. I knew that this was an opportunity that was presented to him, but for him to be getting this because of Kris Jenner, I think that that is overly generous on Kris's part, and I think it's honestly not that deserved. I feel like when it comes to Kris and Tristan, I'm not understanding why she is just really giving him, I don't even know what number of chances we're on at this point. His fifth chance, sixth chance, like he's made so many mistakes. I don't understand why Kris is trying to really vet him and take him under her wing and move him along in life. I think that the fact that he's on the show making money off of Khloe Kardashian is overly generous in and of itself, much less getting a job now from Kris. And I mean, he's co-parenting. He already had another baby with Khloe. I mean, I feel like this guy's been given so many second chances. And the thing is, at the end of the day, his mother unfortunately did pass away, but I still don't believe that a loss is necessarily what constitutes arms to be wrapped around this tight when it comes to someone like Tristan. And Kris mentioned in her on-camera interview that she feels basically a lot of pity and empathy and sympathy towards Tristan, and the fact that, you know, he has made a lot of mistakes, and she seems to be really selling the story that he is remorseful. And whether or not he is, I don't believe that he needs to be taken care of quite like this by anybody in the family, much less the matriarch herself, Kris Jenner. Now, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this down below in the comments as well. Did you guys see this coming? I feel like we kind of saw a little bit of insight as to the fact that Tristan is going to be in this season more. He's going to be more welcomed by the family, but I don't understand why we are seeing it to this level. And it looks like he's just getting more and more screen time. So he's not only getting a paycheck from a job that Kris vetted him for and got for him by pulling the strings and the connections of calling ABC and Disney, but he's also making money off of Khloe by being on this show. So the only person I think that can get away with basically being out of the family yet still in the family is Scott Disick. That is the only person I think that can do something like that, where he's no longer a part of this family, but he's in it enough and deserves to be there enough to where he can still get a paycheck off of it, and it can still be his primary job, you know, filming a few scenes every once in a while. But this is just a different level. I am not here for it personally, and I just hope that all of this Tristan support that we're seeing, we heard a little bit from Kim, now we're seeing it from Kris even more so. Like, I hope that this is not rubbing off on Khloe, and I hope that she doesn't eventually succumb and fold to the idea that Tristan deserves all of these chances, because at the end of the day, being a co-parent is good enough as is. I mean, she's even too kind for letting him under her roof, in my opinion, while his house is getting restored throughout the duration of this season. So speaking of Kim Kardashian, let's go back to Miss Kim and let's talk about the portion where she was in Milan. Now, first of all, she alluded to the idea that her and Kourtney are basically past all of this drama. It seems like the Dolce drama is done. It seems like I still don't think it ever existed. I still think that they just needed a storyline, especially with last season, and I think that they had to kind of resurface and squash it this season. I'm not understanding, and I'm very much seeing that Kim was having a very good time in Milan, which I'm very happy for her. I'm very glad that they are not beefing over the Dolce & Gabbana situation anymore. However, I wish that they would have maybe resolved it on camera. I feel like we're just being fed information that we didn't already know. I'm a little confused, but I'm glad that it's put to bed, and I'm wanting to see what lies ahead, especially in regards to Kim and Kourtney and their dynamic and how that continues to unfold on camera. Now, like I mentioned, we're seeing Kim in Milan, and I think it's really funny that she was there for Dolce and Gabbana, and somehow Corey got his birthday involved and he was now being honored with a Dolce and Gabbana dinner. I love the fact that they were able to step up and give that to him. If you guys know, you already know, I love Corey. I think he is so funny, and I constantly forget that Corey is involved until I see Corey on camera, and I mean that in the best way possible. He is just so unproblematic and just there for the ride, and I just love him, and I think that he's actually very complimentary to Kris Jenner. So what a way to celebrate a birthday, and good for Corey. Now let's wrap it up. At the end of the episode, we saw Khloe and Tristan yet again with one another. Tristan's just getting his screen time this season, you guys. Oh my goodness. Now he's getting a lot of screen time, and I'm personally not a huge fan of it. I feel like they're going to get back together just with all of these conversations, all of these scenes, all of the support that is oddly and ironically just taking place for Tristan in the family. I think that Khloe's just gotta stay strong and just stay tough, and hopefully this too shall pass. But I will say I really enjoyed watching Khloe speak up about Tristan's brother and how much she does care for him. Now Tristan does have a younger brother. I believe he has LGS. It's a very severe epileptic condition, and I'm very glad that she's able to step up and to help out. And I'm glad that she's able to separate any relationship feelings that she feels towards Tristan, whether it's as a friend, more than a friend. However, I'm glad that she's able to separate that from him and to be able to focus on the brother and to be able to step up and take care of him to the best of her ability. I really do appreciate that, and I don't know how Khloe does it. I really don't. I tip my hat to her. That girl is there for absolutely everybody, and I'm hoping that she is able to be there for herself just as much as she is for everyone else. So that wraps up this episode. Overall, I am really hoping that we see a lot more. I'm hoping that we see things that are a little bit less curated. I'm really hoping that we see more of Kourtney, Kendall, and Kylie. We just keep seeing blips of them, I feel like, at this point. And I'm always wanting more of, especially Kendall and Kylie. I feel like we have not seen a lot with Kourtney. Hoping that we see the whole pregnancy announcement unfold with her and Travis Barker. But overall, I'm also hoping that we get to see into the idea of Timothée Chalamet and Bad Bunny. I know that's a long shot. We can barely see the Jenners as is, much less the people that they are dating. However, maybe, just maybe, we will see something in regards to these ladies and their significant others in this season. I will stay hopeful. We still have a long way to go, but so far I am a little bit underwhelmed, and I'm really hoping that this season can pick up pace. I really liked the first episode, and I'm just not quite feeling what I felt for this show at the beginning stages of the Hulu version, season 1, season 2. So hopefully season 4 can continue to chug along and to pick up pace, and hopefully we get to see a lot more. But let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let us know your favorite moments, what you're hoping to see, any predictions that you have. We love to read what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm your host, Hannah Fletcher. You guys can go ahead and follow me on social media. My handle is right there on the screen. Come say hello. And make sure, if you guys haven't given this video a like, that you hit the like button. Go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.